Harry and Meghan, we said, you know, they've been nominated for an award, nominated for the Emmys. So, I mean, I don't want to deride the Hollywood Critics Association Awards, but...
No, let's do it.
Yeah,
let's talk about the Hollywood.
She walked into that room expecting recognition, but left with her reputation in tatters. Meghan Markle's shocking, uninvited appearance at the HBO Max Emmy celebration wasn't just embarrassing, it was a catastrophic miscalculation that exposed how far she's fallen from grace. What happened that night sent shockwaves through Hollywood and revealed the brutal truth about her current standing in the entertainment industry. If you think you know the full story about what really went down at this exclusive event, think again. The details that emerged paint a picture so damaging that it may have permanently altered Meghan's trajectory in Hollywood. Make sure to hit that like button, because this story gets more shocking as we dive deeper into the night that changed everything. The moment Meghan stepped through those ballroom doors, the atmosphere shifted. Guests who were mingling and celebrating suddenly went quiet. A-list actors stopped mid-conversation and stared in disbelief. This wasn't the usual red carpet excitement. This was pure confusion mixed with growing irritation. Sources inside the event confirmed that no formal invitation had ever been extended to Meghan. Her name wasn't on the guest list. She wasn't connected to any nominated production, and HBO Max executives had no idea she was coming.
More prestigious than it is.
Right.
You know, if you look at this Hollywood Reporter article about some of the scandal that's gone on with the HCA Awards, they have literally...
Security personnel were reportedly caught completely off guard, scrambling to figure out how she'd even made it past the entrance. Radio chatter increased as staff tried to understand the situation. One producer who was nominated that night later described her arrival as an intrusion, saying it was exactly the kind of attention-seeking behavior they'd come to expect from her.
Yeah.
Specifically, there is an example given about them deciding that they wanted the hate you give to win for Best Picture or something. So the founder...
That comment wasn't meant for public consumption, but it spread quickly through entertainment industry circles. As Meghan moved deeper into the venue, more heads turned, but not in admiration. The looks she received were filled with concern and disapproval. Organizers huddled together, clearly unsure how to handle the unexpected situation. HBO Max representatives were seen whispering urgently into their phones and radios. The evening was supposed to celebrate genuine artistic achievement, but suddenly all attention was focused on this uninvited guest, who seemed oblivious to the discomfort she was causing.
It's just been recently that they've had a third party tabulate the votes. There have been extreme questions about the HCA's lack of transparency as far as voting and tabulating. And it was in 2022, I believe, that they brought in a...
Then came the moment that nobody saw coming. Just as a speech began recognizing first-time Emmy nominees, the venue's lighting dimmed, and the large screens around the room began glitching. What was supposed to be a smooth highlight reel was interrupted by a series of unauthorized messages and images. Several of these digital intrusions reportedly included direct criticism aimed at Meghan Markle. Attendees were stunned, but the timing seemed far from coincidental. Was this a coordinated protest from industry insiders? Was someone sending a very public message about her unwelcome presence? Nobody could say for certain. But everyone agreed the disruption was loaded with meaning. It reflected the exact sentiment that was building in the room throughout the evening. The fact that someone had managed to hack into the event's technical systems, specifically to target Meghan, suggested this frustration ran deeper than just that one night.
Giving Kristen Stewart awards because he's obsessed with her and he likes for her to show up at the award show. So, this to me is the biggest PR stunt from the HCA trying to legitimize themselves, because what they want is for Harry and Meghan to show up. What they want is for you and all of these people to be like...
The crowd's reaction became impossible to ignore. People who had once posed for photos with Meghan were now actively avoiding her. Actors turned away when she approached. Conversations stopped abruptly whenever she joined a group. Some industry figures walked away mid-sentence rather than engage with her. The social freeze-out was happening in real time, and everyone could see it.
that this thing exists. I just think that they've got the benefit of the doubt of having a big fancy name and hoping that nobody looks into their background, where so many people have resigned because they did not like the way it was being handled. But he also admits to calling up the publicists and saying, hey,
In one particularly brutal moment that didn't make it into any official photos, a major network showrunner walked directly past Meghan without acknowledging her presence. This wasn't an accidental snub, it was a deliberate statement. Multiple eyewitnesses confirmed the interaction, describing it as one of the most uncomfortable moments of the entire evening. The message was crystal clear. This wasn't her event, and she wasn't welcome to hijack it for personal publicity. What makes this situation so devastating isn't just the immediate embarrassment, but the pattern it represents. This wasn't Meghan's first uninvited appearance at an industry event. She's developed a reputation for inserting herself into spaces where she doesn't belong, trying to force relevance through proximity to genuine achievement. But this time, the backlash was immediate and undeniable.
Most publicity they'd ever had in their life if Harry and Meghan picked up and showed up. And they actually might, because who else is going to give this crock a trophy?
I mean, the point, so let's move on to a proper awards ceremony, the Emmys.
After the technical disruption, security was quietly increased throughout the venue. While Meghan wasn't formally removed, staff reportedly asked her to avoid the central VIP seating area. She relocated to a side lounge space but remained largely isolated. Nobody approached her for photos or conversation. The aura of celebrity that once surrounded her had completely evaporated, leaving only awkwardness in its place. Social media exploded almost immediately. Footage surfaced showing her brief walk through the room, being met with audible disapproval and comments questioning why she was there. Hashtags criticizing her uninvited appearance began trending within hours. Even people who had previously supported her began questioning whether this was a genuine mistake or another calculated attempt to steal headlines from the rightful honorees. The damage extended far beyond just that one evening. Within 48 hours, industry insiders reported that a potential deal with an international studio had suddenly gone cold. An agent revealed anonymously that nobody wants to associate with controversy, especially the kind that disrupts prestigious industry events. Meghan's presence now brings nothing but complications and negative publicity.
Potentially win an Emmy, went haywire a few months ago. I just cringed because I thought, certainly not. Certainly somebody's going to say this is completely one-sided. There's a lack of transparency and it's littered with contradictions based on some of their own.
Critics have been merciless in their analysis. One media expert summarized the situation perfectly. Meghan Markle is now viewed less as a creator and more as a disruptor, but not in any positive way. She doesn't change the game for the better. She derails it completely. Her attempts to force her way back into relevance are backfiring spectacularly. Back in Montecito, sources close to Meghan say she was deeply shaken by the reception. She had apparently expected some attention and buzz, but not complete rejection from an entire room full of industry power players. That level of public humiliation, especially in front of the very people whose approval she desperately needs, might be impossible to recover from. For someone trying to rebrand herself as a serious Hollywood player, this was a nightmare scenario. It demonstrated without any doubt that access can be denied and that her presence is no longer automatically welcomed. The room that she once thought she could breeze into now actively questions whether she belongs there at all.
Royal racist in this 6 hours of Netflix. So, to me, I just thought there's certainly no way that this is going to get an Emmy nomination. Here we are now hearing that they're allegedly devastated over the snub. And I, you have to give credit where credit is due. It was one of the most streamed.
Even HBO Max, known for diplomatic public relations, declined to make any official comment about Meghan's surprise appearance. Their statement focused entirely on celebrating the night's actual nominees. That strategic silence was deafening and spoke volumes about how the network viewed the disruption she caused. The lack of support from other celebrities was equally telling. No tweets defending her, no Instagram posts showing solidarity, no public statements backing her up. In Hollywood, where relationships are everything, That silence reveals just how isolated she's become. Her currency in the industry has clearly been devalued, and nobody wants to risk their own reputation by associating with her current controversies. By the end of the evening, long after most nominees had departed, Meghan was quietly escorted through a side exit. No photographers captured her leaving. No entourage surrounded her. Just a discreet disappearance that mirrored her entrance, but without any of the misplaced confidence. It was exactly the kind of ending no celebrity ever wants. The kind that suggests you weren't just unwanted, but that your very presence disrupted everything that actually mattered.
Compelling because there they were doing what they do best, pouring an enormous bucket over the royal family, over King Charles, and indeed the entire British nation, who they basically accused of being the beneficiaries of slavery. You know, my family come from Ireland. I don't think we've ever benefited from slavery.
Within 24 hours, the industry fallout intensified. Agents, managers, and showrunners were asking serious questions about how Meghan had gained access to an invitation-only event without any legitimate connection to the Emmy process. Her recent media activity consisted mainly of shelved brand collaborations and a Netflix project still in early development stages. She had no campaign, no nomination, no role, and no real contribution to the Emmy conversation. Yet there she was, trying to commandeer attention that belonged to others. Event insiders later confirmed what many suspected. Meghan's team had completely bypassed proper protocols. She wasn't on any official roster. Her name had been specifically removed from other award season events due to previous overreaching behavior. And HBO Max executives were never informed of her plans to attend. This wasn't her first surprise entrance, just the first time she couldn't control how people reacted. The spontaneous backlash didn't just affect Meghan personally. It damaged her entire brand. Marketing executives reported that sponsors who had expressed interest in future lifestyle ventures quietly stepped back from negotiations. Some asked to pause conversations entirely, while others simply disappeared from discussions altogether. In today's image-conscious market, no brand wanted to be associated with someone who gets booed at Emmy events.
It was compelling, but I don't think it was all that good, so well done to the Emmys for dishing them a well-deserved snub.
One senior executive at a premium fashion house put it bluntly, "They're in the business of aspiration," and that moment was anything but aspirational. The comment wasn't personal, it was purely commercial. Meghan's value was now being measured against potential damage control costs, and the math wasn't working in her favor. The technical disruption targeting her specifically only made things worse. The fact that someone had orchestrated such a coordinated protest in that exact setting suggested this wasn't just online criticism, but frustration from within the industry itself. These weren't random internet trolls. These were messages that made it past HBO Max's event security, indicating someone with inside access had chosen to publicly embarrass her. This catastrophic evening represents more than just one bad night. It's concrete evidence that the Meghan Markle brand no longer guarantees warmth, elegance, or influence. Instead, it triggers uncertainty, controversy, and caution among the very people whose support she desperately needs to rebuild her career in Hollywood. The industry has spoken, and the message couldn't be clearer. Forced relevance doesn't work. Artistry can't be overshadowed by publicity tactics, and there are consequences for repeatedly overstepping boundaries. Meghan entered that room hoping to remind everyone she still mattered, but she left more isolated than ever, with her Hollywood dreams potentially shattered beyond repair. What do you think about this dramatic fall from grace? Have you seen anything like this level of industry rejection before? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more exclusive entertainment industry insights that you won't find anywhere else. The story of what happens next in Meghan's Hollywood journey is still unfolding, and you won't want to miss how this saga continues to develop.